What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear. And today, I'm going to be doing the review on a company and a knife that I have been blown away by. If you've been following my channel, you already know who it is. Joseph Vero and the Synapse XL. Probably my favorite knife in the collection. That's kind of hard to say. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So, before we get started on this, I want to make a little bit of an announcement. Today is the 21st, February 21st, and it's a Sunday. This coming Saturday, because I'm going to post this today, me and Lefty EDC are going to be doing our live stream. It's going to be called On the Edge. That looks weird. On the Edge, we did a little test last Saturday. You probably already heard. Went really well. We had some people kind of give us some ideas about the name, and the name we've chosen is On the Edge. Super excited. Kevin is like my brother. Me, Kevin, Lefty EDC, Jake, Bearded Gear. We talk all day, all the time, and we basically just talk knives and gears, give each other shit. And me and Kevin were like, you know what? Jake's got a lot on his plate, so he's really, really busy. Of course, Jake from Bearded Gear is basically the new hotness on YouTube. He's growing like crazy. He has absolutely the best content. And so he's becoming more and more busy because he is doing this like as full time, man. He is going for it. And so me and Kevin decided, let's do our own live thing. Let's just see if people like it. We did a little test. Everybody did like it that came across, even though we didn't advertise it. So this Saturday we are, and I'm going to do a community post to give you more details as far as exactly when it's going to happen. But we have our live stream On the Edge. It's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely stay tuned. And if you're not subscribed, I don't think you'll see a community post. So, but that's what we're going to do, is do a community post to tell you when and where that happens. And it's amazing. We drink, we have a good time, we bust each other's chops. So that's it. If you're still here, sorry that I didn't go right to the knife. The Vero Engineering Large Synapse. Now, the first Vero Engineering knife that I got was the Impulse, the original Impulse. That one was a larger knife. I fell in love with Joseph Engineering, okay? His, which Vero Engineering, right? He's an engineer. God, I keep touching my face. People keep telling me, stop touching your face. And I don't know why, but my nose starts itching whenever I'm behind this damn camera. But he's an engineer. He's been doing he's worked in a bunch of different fields. He's a knife enthusiast. And he's like me. He likes bigger knives, right? So with the Gen 1 Impulse, and then the second run Impulse, bigger knives, Tonto blade, very unique flipper tab, which is on the Synapse, both the Gen 1, the regular one, and the Gen 2 Synapse, and now the Synapse XL. Whew, too much to keep up with. He's also got an integral that he's come out with, the Isotope. I did not get in on that drop, or I wasn't able to. Wasn't fast enough. Pissed off. Go! Because I love his products, everything that he has done. Then I got one of his newer ones, the Axon. So, and we'll do size comparisons and whatnot. But I'm telling you, the guy's just freaking killing it. His design language speaks to me. I really love everything that he has done. Even his tools, the Vero Engineering Fulcrum, which he has a large and a mini size of. There's hardly anything to complain about. Now, these knives aren't perfect. That's for sure. Not perfect. But the Synapse XL has quickly become one of my favorite knives. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Let's get you a good close-up. These knives came in a couple of different variations where you had natural micarta, which is what this is, stone wash blade, hand satin blade, belt satin blades. You had green micarta, black micarta, in-cut carbon fiber, just a bunch of different variations. And this was the one that I ended up with. I probably would like the black micarta because I think that looks pretty sick. But this natural micarta, and especially the way it's starting to change color, I like. I mean, I am not complaining whatsoever. And the micarta that they use is a wonderful like mixture between smooth and actually got texture. This is probably the best feeling micarta that I have felt on a knife. I have the Giant Mouse Ace Grand, which is also pretty cool, but it's actually a little smoother than this. I like the texture of it, and it actually will get smoother, I believe, over time. So the carbon, I mean, not the carbon fiber, but the micarta that they have chosen to use is really, really good. I love it. So why do I love this knife so much? Well, let's first of all kind of go over what else we're working with here. Of course, we have the beautiful micarta. We have a titanium bolster lock because the frame of this knife is titanium. It's a frame lock. However, as you can see, that is the only portion of the lock that you can access, and then the micarta scales are kind of like an over travel. So this one technically for me is a bolster lock, which works out really well. You don't have any kind of problems with your fingers getting in like maybe some people had in the Impulse, kind of putting pressure on the lock bar. That takes care of that problem on this guy. The flipper tab, like on the Impulse, I believe is just one of the best ever put on a knife. The reason I say that is because it's minimal. Like there is technically no flipper tab, right? Compared to what we're looking or what we're used to seeing. The leverage that you get and the way you actuate this thing is a little different. So whenever you first pick this up, it's a little bit different and it takes you a second to get used to. But all you do really is push down. I push it straight down. And then some people say that you kind of land right here and it's not comfortable. It doesn't matter. It doesn't happen to me, but you can push down and kind of back and fires out like crazy. And it's because of the way he's designed this and the leverage. I mean, this thing, like I tried to fail that and it really almost locked up. It is a wonderful rocket out. If you try to fail it, you can. But you can do that with almost anything. There are some knives out there that I've done that the detent is like dialed into the perfection where it won't. But this one is really close to that. The way that this thing functions, the leverage that you get, and when you pull straight down on that blade, it is fun, okay? Most flippers are not fun for me. A flipper knife, if I just have a flipper, it's boring. I know I've said that before, but flippers are okay. And I like them sometimes, but they're not my favorite deployment method. This one is a totally different animal as far as a flipper. I can actually use this flipper and be happy. But the reason this knife really just speaks to me and I almost could not keep it out of my pocket is because it has the Vero pocket there for the reverse flick. And I can even use the jimping on the top to do a front flip. So the fidget factor is like overload, okay? I can play with this knife and open this knife in a few different ways throughout the day whenever I'm just playing with a knife, which is what I usually do. And it makes it fun for me. It's super satisfying, super fun. The detent on this one, I would say, is better than the one on the Impulse. See how it sucks it in? You get that nice satisfying click. It wasn't like that on the Impulse like it is on this one. You can flick it out, but as you can see, I'm doing, see? You can flick it out, but it's hard. The detent on this thing, I believe, is dialed in where it needs to be. Maybe could be a bit stronger, maybe. But it's nearly there. I love it. I love it. And especially because of the reverse flick. This thing reverse flicks better than most other knives that I have in my collection. Now, do I still have the Evo? Yep. The Evo is still one of my favorite knives. But it's big. This is big. It's kind of ridiculous looking. That's why I love that knife, right? The grinds on it are freaking killer. But, like, for a knife to carry every day, this might be my favorite knife to carry every day. Now, this one has this beautiful stone wash. Look at that. I love a good stone wash. My Impulse had it, and the stone wash hides wear. Very good user finish because of that. This one has a beautiful drop point blade versus the Tonto blade, which I loved, but I know a lot of people don't like Tontos. So this one gave you the option for a beautiful drop point blade. I just can't imagine myself picking another knife to say, you got to pick one knife and you've got to carry it all day, every day for the rest of your life. I don't know if I could pick another one. I really don't know if I could. I love this knife that much. Hardware is T8 all the way around, except for, yeah, T8 all the way around, I'm pretty sure. I haven't taken it apart. Really don't plan to unless I need to. It's running on, obviously, some bearings. This one is 102, and I'm not sure how many they ran of the Synapse XL. I can't remember. It was either 300 or 500. They'll do more runs. Comes in this amazing pouch that I love to talk about. Vero Engineering pouches that they have. The patch there that shows your knife. Freaking just the best. Ah, I love that. Of course, you get your Vero sticker. And you have your card. And the cards are changing up. So this one was the first run, M390 Stonewash Micarta Raw. This one was assembled on January 12th, 21. So, this is whenever they launched. And holy moly, I'm lucky to get this. Now, I did not get this on the drop. Like, I wasn't able to pre-order this, even though I wanted to. I tried. But they're hard, dude. You've got to be quick. I was able to pick this up on the secondary market. These things were around $375, right? Like $395, excuse me. So they're around $400. I ended up paying more than that in the secondary market because these things just go crazy on the secondary market. People want his designs, and they go fast on the drops. I don't regret a damn thing because I love this knife so very much. Now, the newest Vero that I have is the Axon. This Axon, just to kind of give you which we will have a full review, but it might not be of this one. I've had a viewer offer to trade me his Stonewash blade with black micarta, which I would rather have, even though I love this hand satin. I love it, but I think I'd rather have the black micarta. And so I decided to go ahead and trade him. And so I'm going to be sending this out, and he's going to be sending me his one. So his one, what the hell? Anyways, but that means I will go back to having two Vero knives with the Stonewash finish, which I really do love. But he will get this nice hand rub satin. This knife is amazing as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. But as you can see, this knife and the Synapse XL, they are definitely different sizes. As you can see, this one is more the size of the Impulse Mini from what I've seen. Kevin Lefty EDC's got both of those, and he put them side by side, and they're pretty close. This is definitely a larger knife, the XL, which it should be. It's called the XL, right? I have never had the regular size Synapse in hand, but I wasn't interested whenever I heard that they came out with this. I just can't get over how much I love it. One thing that I really love about Joseph Vero, all right, so if I can get to focus, damn you, maybe this century, get a little bit, there we go. See how the Vero, that's the only branding on this knife is right there on the spine? Come on. That's just classiness. I love it. This side, sterile as hell. This side has the pocket, so the show side stays nice and clean looking. Just beautiful, man. I just really love the design. The Axon does have it in both sides, which I do still like because lefties out there will be able to do the reverse flick. So that's nice. I appreciate that, even though I'm not left-handed. I just really like this clean look. It's so freaking, it's just sexy, right? I don't know what it is about Joseph Vero, and he's in my head, is what he is. He's in my head making knives that just appeal to me like crazy. The ergos on this knife are pretty close to what they were on the Impulse. So you have this shape here. So your fingers go into that groove, wrap around, and as you can see, I've got all the fingers in it, just maybe a little bit in the regular grip like this. And then my thumb does land on the jimping here, which the jimping is not aggressive, okay? It doesn't really bite in that much, just a little bit, but I like this kind of jimping, to be honest. But in this grip, you know, it kind of, my back of my thumb goes on the jimping, so it's still too little far back for my taste, but it's comfortable. However, the way this knife, I believe, and Joseph will verify this, is meant to be held is to choke up on this flat portion, and then your other fingers go into these grooves. This is comfortable as hell. Now, this is the way I cut with the knife. It feels very good. As you can see, got a lot of room here after I choke up. Very, very comfortable. No hot spots. You can feel the pocket clip. The pocket clip is the only thing on this knife that I love because it looks good. I love the Vero there on the pocket clip, but because it kind of pokes up there, you definitely can feel the pocket clip in your palm. It hits me like right there. I wouldn't call it, I am going to call it a hot spot, but I'm not going to say that it's just so uncomfortable that it's going to ruin the knife. That's not the case. But that's the only thing really on this knife that I could see being a little bit different. The pocket clip does carry good. The Axon pocket clip, they see how they look the exact same. You've got your little swoop there, and then on this one, the Axon is a little bit, let's see if we can get that. The Axon's a little bit tighter to get into the pocket, which I don't mind. I actually like it. It's not like it's a two-handed knife to get in the pocket. This one fits in the pocket like a dream, really. I mean, it's still got resistance going in, but it's smooth going in. I really like the way the pocket clip functions. You don't have deep carry like on all the other ones, but you've got a little bit of knife sticking out there, and I honestly wish it was a little bit more, because that's usually how I like to grab my knives, is to pull it out like this. A lot of times, because it's a little bit stiffer, as I'll actually grab the bottom of the pocket clip to pull it out. You know, some people might not like that. It doesn't bother me. I like that. But this one is definitely easier to go in and out of pocket than the Axon is, at least this one that I have right now. So really, there's nothing else I can say other than, if you want something like this, if you want this knife, you need to buy it, and you need to buy it now. If you can get on the next drop, do it, because that's the best deal you're going to get. Anything on the secondary market is just going to be marked up because they're so desirable right now. And I get it. Some knives I would not pay extra. Some knives I would, and this is one. I know a lot of people out there refuse to pay above market value or what they could have bought it for brand new. I get it. Totally get it, and I'm like that in a lot of ways. But I don't regret buying this at all. Matter of fact, the reason that I have this knife is because of Lefty EDC. He's the one that found it. And brother, I cannot thank you enough. I knew that this knife was going to be better for me than the Impulse, which I just sent to Lefty EDC. So definitely stay tuned to his channel for his review of that and the Custom Knife Factory Evo. He's going to have both if freaking Mail and FedEx will ever get off their ass. We had some snow ice and it's just freaking killing me. Not moving. Ooh. Rant, sorry. But anyway, let's get behind this knife. Let's get a little bit closer look and get some size comparisons so you can see what size this is. It's a perfect size for me. You guys know I like the bigger knives, but it's not overly huge. So let's get behind and take a look. Hey, right. Let's get a little bit closer look at this micarta, shall we? So as you can see, the micarta and the transitions that you get, this knife was manufactured by Best Tech, like all the other Vero products. And they really have been knocking it out of the park as far as their fit and finish. Really love what they're doing here. You do have a full titanium backspacer. Look at where you have the transitions there. It's just really, really well put together. You have centering right down the middle. Your little pocket there. Come on, guys. There is no lanyard tube, so, you know, that's not going to affect more than probably 5 people in this community. I'm just kidding. I know a lot of people like lanyards. I don't put them on everything, but I've got them on some. A little bit closer look at this beautiful satin finish. God, I love a good satin finish, guys, and they do a wonderful job here. Oh, you get your nice sharpening choil there. The blade shape, I think, is just one of the best. I mean, it's a classic drop point with a swedge on the top that runs a good ways on this blade, which gives you a not dainty, but not too thick tip to be able to, not really worry about your stabbing task very much. Not when I'm doing my EDC task, which is still lightweight, guys. I know I don't use my knives as hard as some of the others, but holy crap, just look at the overall profile of this knife. I think it's modern, classic, and everything in between, and it just looks amazing. I love it. Oh, do I love it. Let's see what it looks like compared to other ones. So this is the XL, okay? The Synapse, the regular Synapse was much smaller than this. So here it is against the PM2. So as you can see, yep, it is bigger than the PM2. And just in my wheelhouse, let's go ahead and put it up against that Axon since we have it out here. So definitely bigger than the Axon. Like I said, the Axon in this is about what the size of the Impulse Mini is. So that kind of gives you an idea on the size of the knife from what you can, expect from at least those two other models in the lineup. Here it is against another larger knife. This is the Spartan Harsey Folder. So pretty similar. And then here is the Koenig Arius. So definitely a full-size knife that is right there in the spot that I love to carry. I mean, you guys know me, I love carrying some of the bigger knives. This one is really perfect EDC for me, as far as it's got the fidgetability. It's fidgety. It has a long enough blade length for me to be able to do what I gotta do. It's comfortable. It's just everything wrapped up. Now, this is still one of my favorite knives as well, the Koenig Arius. The ergonomics on this Koenig Arius is better than the Synapse, but you've got a big price difference between this knife and this knife. This is 100% made in the USA. This one is made by Best Tech, but by an American manufacturer or designer. So that's why you've got that big of a price difference, but still not chump change, but also not horribly expensive. Like I said, $395 for this thing brand new. It is awesome. You have an 8.85 inch overall length. You have a 3.85 blade length. You have a blade thickness of about 157 thousandths, which comes down to, my calipers was on the fritz and I did not do this. So we're going to do it now. I know people are like, Jesus, why are you doing it? But anyway, I like to give you the idea about what the thickness is behind the edge. And so because they did such a really good job with this tall grind, this thing is very, very slicey. We're looking at about, anywhere from 12 to 15 thousandths behind the edge. So this thing slices so freaking well. So EDC, M390 drop point flat grind, the combination is there. I didn't do my freaking cut test, so we'll just kind of give you an idea right here behind this. Look at this. I mean, so as far as the cardboard, it slices through cardboard like crazy. I cannot believe I forgot to do that. Let's go ahead and do the paracord. We're going to do the push cut for the paracord. Okay, so there's a little bit of resistance there, but a pretty clean cut. And then our twisted sisal rope. We are going to do the slicing cut. That one did not work. There we go. This stuff is pretty tough. But I got about halfway through it on that first one, and then on the second one, it did. So push cuts through this is not going to be easy, but I have had other knives do the push cuts and actually get through this. This one with the slicing cut, very clean cut. I really enjoyed that. Let's go ahead and see if I got another. There we go. So, because especially on a slicing cut for something like paracord, that's very clean and very resistantless. Would I expect it to be any easier to cut with this blade? No, I mean, it's cutting like I believe it should. It's a wonderful tool, guys. I mean, it's just all there is to it. The action, just superb for what you're getting. Is this awesome drop shut, just whoop, smooth, controlled. It's hard for me, guys. It's hard for me to do this kind of stuff because I love this knife so much, and it's just like, I feel like I'm gooing. And I am gooing. I love this knife. I love it. I just never see myself selling this thing because of everything it's got for it. I want to thank Joseph Vero for his wonderful, wonderful mind. He has been killing it. One of the most successful, new knife makers in the game right now, and I always want him to continue to do his thing. Here it is against that Fulcrum that I told you I have, which I'm also loving and going to be reviewing his pry bar / bit driver. Look at that. So these are perfect companions, and I love carrying these. I love carrying these, on the same day. I always carry this, but I don't always carry this knife because I've always got a bunch of other ones. But whenever I do carry this knife with the Fulcrum, it just makes me happy. So, guys, all right, I'm rambling. I understand. I'm sorry. I was all over the place on this one, but this damn knife just really gets me going. And it's been a while since a knife has done that, really, because I love knives, and it's hard for me to say anything bad about some of them unless they're just absolutely crap. But this knife in particular, it's been the hardest to keep out of pocket. So guys, I love you. Stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.